Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes here for some more people to join us, and then I'll go ahead and start. In the meantime, you can just sort of look over the notes here. So while we wait, I'm going to tell a really bad joke. So hopefully it's kind of nice doing these webinars because no one can groan when they hear my joke, and I can just kind of laugh at myself. So that way I know it's good. But let's say a string goes into a bar and orders a drink, and the bartender says, "You don't look old enough." And so the string's all upset, and he goes back outside, and so he thinks, "I need to look tougher." And so he ties himself into a knot, and he frays the end of his himself, and then he goes back in and he says, "Yeah, I'd like to order a drink." And the bartender says, "Weren't you just in here a minute ago?" And the string says, "No, I'm afraid not." So yeah, it's my lame dad joke for the day. But so we have a release scheduled for tomorrow, and I'm going to just kind of prepare you a little bit for it. So most of the changes here are kind of small, so I'm just going to kind of go through each one of them. And if you have any questions, since we're doing this on Facebook now, you can just leave them in the comments, and I'll answer them at the end. And if you want to leave comments later, or if you have questions after we're done here, you can always email us or just leave them in the comments, and we'll try to respond when we get a chance. So so the first thing here listed is we made a change to our billing so that if you are just like one or two items over the plan limit, you can instead of having to jump up to the next plan right away, you can just add one or two. So if you go under settings and subscription, you'll see that option there if you want to do it that way. Next, we added a check all button in a few places just to make it a little easier for you to check everything at once or not. So here on the statuses, you can just clear them all or check them all, which is convenient. Same thing on the email center. No, not email center. Eventually coming to the email center, auto emails tab. Okay, so yeah, we're trying to add that box in as many places as we can just to make it easier for you. So on this one, if you're trying to prevent all the emails from going out for a certain event. Long descriptions are now faded, so this is just a simple thing. Here, if we go to the quote page, it was always hard to tell for customers to know they could click to see more. So this just makes it a little more clear that there's more info that they can see. So for line items, so we have these line items now on leads that are customizable. And a lot of times if you have like something on by default, so you can turn on these line items for distance fees and staffing and stuff. And if they're calculated to zero, they were always showing on the quote form. So you can see this one has a $0 discount and a $0 fee, but we've now made it so that they aren't shown on here if they're $0, just to not clutter things up so much. And just so you know, in case you weren't aware, you can go over to settings and optional fields here under advanced, and this is where you can turn on any of those extra things or add custom ones as well. Part of our IO phone, we added some pre-recorded hold music now. So if you are using that under IO phone, if you hit settings here and you choose any of these types, so normally you'll do like a recording, or you can say, hey, thanks for calling. Please wait for the next available representative. And then it'll play some hold music here, and you can choose from some pre-selected options or upload one if you have one. For vendors, we made a few changes here. So before you could only send one different template for vendor to vendors. So like if this is a sub-rented item here, this rock wall, you can now use this here, and you can switch templates if you have a certain one that goes to different types of vendors, as well as on this contract tab where you're emailing the vendor the purchase order. You also have the option if you want to switch to different templates. So you obviously have to make the templates first, but that's now available. Another thing that we did was you can now filter better by vendors and save those. So if you're looking for vendors, you can type this in and it'll show you your whole list. And then when you click on it, it'll show you the leads that have that vendor on there. And at this point, you can save filters or run reports to just show events with just that vendor's stuff in it. Same thing if I just start typing their name in, it searches organization name currently. As well as by the name of the item. Obviously, I think you could do this before anyway, but this is the rock wall that's a vendor item. We added this page here a while back for multi-location companies. If you need to select which quote page based on the zip code on your website, we can now help you with that. Workers, we added a new setting here to prevent them from modifying older leads. So to do that, you can go over to workers. If you edit on the event details tab here, there's now this option, prevent lead modification. So this will prevent people from modifying anything on the event tab or the status after X days after the event's over. So you could, if you put like a 10 in here, then any events that have been over for at least 10 days, it will prevent them from accidentally modifying it. We also have a mobile app release coming out probably this week sometime. It doesn't actually come out with the release tomorrow, but it will be whenever your app updates. Probably for Android, it'll be later this week, and Apple probably early next week or over the weekend. So payment surcharges are now added with using OpenEdge. So we have the surcharging that happens when they make payments from the contract page. Well, apparently we hadn't quite finished on the mobile app, so now that will be supported. We've also added customer tipping when you're using OpenEdge. So the customer, when you hand them the phone to sign their name for the credit card, it'll say, hey, do you want to leave a tip, and allow them to do that. Clicking phone numbers when you're using the mobile app, if you're using iOphone, will initiate like a click to call where it'll actually dial your phone and the customer and bridge the call together. So the whole point of that is so that it's the company phone that's calling the customer and not your cell phone. If you're not using iOphone, it still just pulls up your normal dialer for your cell phone like it does now. And we added some more details on the pop-up for shifts to see who's working. And we also have a slew of bug fixes. As always, we're trying to make our product work better. So, yeah. And if you'll give me a minute here, I'll look over. If you guys have any questions about what we talked about, go ahead and post them now if you haven't. And I'm going to look those up. Okay. And doesn't look like there's any questions in the comments yet. So while we're seeing if there's anything else, I did want to point out our help section. If you have questions, I encourage you to use this. You just go to help, and And if you have a certain question or problem, so let's say we how to price an item by day, you can search it. Now, if it already has the question answered here, you can look at these. If you don't find it, you just simply hit new topic, and then you can, oops, I have to be logged in. And then when you do new topic there, it will let you post it, and we'll get the response. And if anyone else has that same question later, they'll be able to see it as well. So also we have this knowledge base up here, and it's got lots of, this is kind of like our documentation. Most of the stuff you can find on here. We have a link that shows a lot of our webinars here, and just everything's organized by topic here. There should also be a link here for videos at the top of the site that includes some of the basics on how to use our software. And of course, we have our YouTube page. I think there's a link on the bottom of the site down here for YouTube that'll have videos about different topics that we've done in the past. So if you're looking for more information, yeah, the help section, the knowledge base, and the YouTube videos is a great place to start. And of course, you can always email or call us as well. All right, so I got a few questions here I want to answer now. Ty says, IO phone, will we ever be able to get text and have it log, not go to email? So yeah, if you're using IO phone and you send a text, you can do that. I don't know if I have it on this account. I thought I did. But yeah, you can text directly from the lead. If you hit email button and you do a text, when you're using IO phone, it'll send it directly from your company number. If you're not using it, it kind of uses a general number that we have. Unfortunately, you can't get responses if you're using our general number at this time, but with IO phone, the text responses will go into your email as an alert. So you have to have one of the alerts turned on for that here. Also, when you're using IO phone, there's a toolbar that shows up. Let me show it to you here on this account. So from here, you can choose text, and you can just directly send a message as well. So normally when you click a phone number in the software here, it'll fill in up here, and then you can say, okay, let's text this person, whatever. So that looks like the only question we had. So if you guys have anything else later, you can always email us or leave it in the comments. So thanks for joining me. See ya.